It's that time of the year again when everyone's talking about New Year's resolutions, reinventing yourself, starting a new year, new me mentality. I've been seeing a lot of videos talking about winter arc or how to reinvent yourself. And I honestly get this new year, new me mentality because who doesn't love to get that instant hit of dopamine when you write down your goals and you envision what it's like to accomplish them? I feel like there is nothing wrong at all with being ambitious, and you see all these YouTubers getting ready to hype you up, getting ready to have you start those goals and be in your winter arc era. But I do feel like social media has created this unrealistic pressure for us to do it all, when it's important to actually focus on building a sustainable and realistic lifestyle. And if you're wondering, like, then what kind of mindset should I have going into the new year? I'm going to share with you guys tips that I found to be super helpful for me, especially as someone who kind of goes all in at the start of the new year with that new year, new me mentality. And the approach, or I guess system, that I follow has helped me to create a more sustainable and happier lifestyle. And so I'm just going to be sharing my personal tips, what has worked for me as a recovering perfectionist that literally has struggled with an all or nothing mindset for the majority of my life. And hopefully by the end of this video, my hope is that you will feel more at peace, more confident and secure going into that new year, knowing exactly how you want to show up. So before we go ahead and dive into all tips, I do want to share with you guys why this mentality might be damaging for people. So number one is that it sets really unrealistic expectations. This new year, new me mentality creates this all or nothing mindset that could set people up for failure if they don't see immediate results. And I think a perfect example of that all or nothing mindset when it comes to fitness is that people will go all in the month of January. That's why you see like the gym is super busy at the start of the year, and that's when gym membership sales go up. But then at the end of February, people tend to just lose that momentum and they start to burn out. Most likely it's probably because when people go all in and expect certain results and don't see them, it can be very discouraging, which might make people not want to show up anymore because they don't see the results that they expected to get. And another example that I have seen on social media is that in order to create a successful business, you have to be 100% locked in and focused. And what that might look like is just having tunnel vision to get to where you want to be. A lot of people at the start of the year want to set these goals because it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to be 100% locked in. I'm going to say no to things that are not pushing me towards the right direction. I get it because I have been like this for the majority of my life. But I think social media tends to create this message of you either need to be all in or you're not going to succeed. And that is not true, because we're human beings at the end of the day. We're going to have distractions. We're going to have obstacles. People are going to need some of our time, and it can cause you to be more isolated from your relationships, from people around you, because you're so focused on what you need to do or what you want to do. So I'll give you guys a practical example. Before I started my blog, I had a goal going into the new year. I think this was 2022 or 2021. I can't really remember. But I decided that I was going to cut out all distractions and spend 2 to 3 hours every single day dedicated towards growing my blog, writing blog posts, etc. As a result, if anyone wanted to hang out with me, I would say no, because I felt like any time spent apart from my blog was time wasted, which is clearly not, but back then I saw it that way. So long story short, I neglected my social life. I didn't really have a social life back then. And so coming out of that, I do see how an all or nothing mindset makes you focus so much on controlling every aspect of your life that you end up ignoring things that actually do really matter at the end of the day, which is your friendships, your relationships. Going back to point number one, I do feel like this new year, new me mentality creates unrealistic expectations. So point number two is that this mentality reinforces a flawed idea of self-worth. When we desire to reinvent ourselves for the new year, it basically creates this belief that your current version of yourself is not good enough. Instead of celebrating your strengths or even your weaknesses, like we tend to think that, oh, I need to fix myself because the me right now at this moment is not good enough. I need to do better. I should be doing this and that. For example, if you have this goal for the new year, like I need to double my income this year, or and behind in life. When you don't land that promotion or you don't reach that financial milestone quickly, you might feel like, oh man, like I'm a failure. I didn't succeed. I didn't accomplish this goal.
Okay guys, I am so sorry for the audio change and the lighting. Just everything kind of went downhill. Literally my mic stopped working and it just got really dark all of a sudden. So we're just gonna roll with it and I'm gonna try to talk a little louder. Going back to this new year, new me mentality and how it can lead to guilt and shame. I feel like social media doesn't do us any good because it causes us to compare ourselves to other people that are our age. For example, I see so many people in their 20s that are just traveling around the world, or they're doing these amazing things. They're doing a lot of brand collabs and basically living their best life. And a part of me also craves that type of success, and it makes me feel like, am I behind in life? Like, should I be doing this and that? And so what I'm trying to say is that you really do want to be mindful of the content that you're consuming, because even on YouTube, as we can see, there is a lot of reinventing yourself, entering your winter arc era, and the intention behind these videos aren't bad. It's to like hype you up, to get you ready for the new year, to be the best version of yourselves. On the other hand, it can be damaging for those who struggle with an all or nothing mindset and are trying to recover from perfectionism. If you haven't had much luck with setting New Year's resolutions, this might not be the best approach for you. And that's why I do want to jump into 5 tips for entering the new year with a healthy mindset. So tip number 1 is to stop letting social media dictate your goals. Social media seriously can create this false reality in terms of how we should be living our lives. It creates this false message that we should be doing this and that. You really do want to ask yourself, like, do you really want to travel to X amount of countries within 1 year? Or are you okay actually just staying at home and chilling and reading a good book? Another example is, do you really care to have a productive 5 to 9 p.m. routine after a long day of work? Or does a nice self-care routine look like having a warm bath and just reading a good book or watching your favorite Netflix show? And do you really want to be a content creator, or do you just like the idea of being one? Because those are 2 very different things. These are things you need to ask yourself before you set goals for the new year. Think about what you truly value instead of listening to what an influencer or your favorite content creator is doing, because chances are it's really easy to be influenced by what other people are doing, and that makes you think that you should be doing those things as well. So basically, to summarize it, do not fall into the trap of social media and really think about what matters for you. What do you value? And when you find out what you value, it will be so much easier to set more intentional goals. So that leads me to tip number 2, which is to celebrate small wins. Once you have created goals that feel right to you, like when you think about it, you feel at peace, you feel happy and motivated, start celebrating those small milestones rather than focusing too much on the end goal. For example, if you want to save up 10K by the end of the year, even if you're unable to hit your monthly savings, try to celebrate the fact that you did save X amount of money. This isn't an all or nothing approach, and I think we are too quick to be like, it's all over because either we skipped a workout or we took a huge break when it came to posting YouTube videos or something like that. Just to give you an example of how my mindset has kind of shifted from all or nothing to a more healthy approach. If I had started this YouTube channel maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, the old me would have been really frustrated if I didn't post consistently every single week. And as you can probably see from the consistency of my channel, I do not post every single week. And the old me would have been like, oh my gosh, I didn't post like in 2 weeks, then I'm just not going to post at all. Like, I had a very all or nothing mindset in terms of failure and what that looked like for me. But now if I don't post maybe like within 2 weeks, I just try to keep going and I try to pick myself back up and just keep being consistent as much as I can. What small wins look like for me now when it comes to editing a video and publishing it is I try not to be so hard on myself when I don't get a video up. Instead, I try to celebrate the fact that I did edit like a rough cut of the video, or it could just be something as small as opening up Final Cut Pro and just trying to get started. Because oftentimes, getting started is the most difficult part of the process. And once we can overcome that hurdle, everything else kind of becomes a lot easier. So really try to celebrate those small wins as you go along your journey, because the more you celebrate those small wins, the more enjoyable the process becomes. Okay, tip number 3 is to start now instead of waiting until January 1st to start your goals. Because the thing is, we start to create this unrealistic pressure that we have to have all our goals ready to start on January 1st. And let's say that we mess up or we fail, then we feel like, okay, I messed up, I failed, and I need to just wait around for the following year to start over again. And that's just not how life is supposed to look like. I really just want to emphasize that you really don't have to wait until January 1st. You don't need permission to start, because truly it is the perfectionism in you that is telling you that you have to start fresh and new. You have to wait, you have to be prepared, and on January 1st you're gonna get started with those goals. But if you can start to accept that the new year is gonna look like obstacles and distractions, and there's just gonna be challenges along the way where you might not work out as much as you want to, or emergencies come up, then you realize like you could actually just continue doing what you've been doing, because the truth is tomorrow is never guaranteed. And I think this contradicts a lot of the messages that we hear online. You know, there's two different sides. There's the don't wait, just start, and there's the other side where you're getting ready to be the best version of yourself, and you know, they don't mix. Chances are you're probably going to feel stuck because you're not exactly sure what is the next step you should be taking. So long story short, just keep doing what you're doing. And if you want to start a goal, you literally can start right now. You can start tomorrow. You don't have to wait a few weeks from now to get started. Okay, and my last tip is to focus on one area at a time. You don't want to overwhelm yourself at the start of the new year, which is why I highly recommend just focusing on one area. That could look like learning how to put together a morning routine that works for you, learning how to better manage your finances, learning how to become more organized. You know, I'd encourage you to write down what area of growth you would like to focus on at the start of the new year. And once you become more consistent and disciplined with it, then you can move on to another area of your life. You really don't want to overwhelm yourself, especially if you tend to struggle with perfectionism or this all or nothing mindset. Again, remember to celebrate those small milestones that you hit, because that is what's going to keep you going. So this year, instead of trying to become a new you, why not focus on building a better, more balanced version of the you that already exists? So with that said, I hope that you guys liked this video. I know that 2025 is just around the corner, but truly, like, you don't need this new year, new me mentality. And my dog is right here, so that's why like I'm trying to get him not to bark as I finish this video. But anyways, I hope you guys have an amazing day. I hope you guys liked this video and found it helpful. And if you did, comment down below what goals that you are currently working on and that you would like to carry over into the new year. Or if there's any goals that you want to work on this month, let me know as well. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!